back, everybody, to Alpha Bow Hunting. First official video at the new home range. I get a pretty good view every morning or late afternoon when I want to get some shots in. So just wanted to give you a little teaser about that. But the range is still very much in progress. Not going to show you too much on that yet. However, this video is something completely different. It's actually something that could have easily been a topic for the DPAP show as far as the whole mental aspect of archery. But I had a question come across, and I really felt it was important to touch on this topic. So I had a question come across on Instagram. Loyal follower, listener, I'm not going to say too much else, but the question came about, how do you recover after having a missed opportunity on an animal, or missing a shot on an animal, wounding an animal, whatever the case is. And this is a topic that I think that, I don't want to say gets overlooked, but maybe it's just not focused on enough. And something that happens to all of us if you're going to be carrying one of these out in the field with you. And the goal obviously with practice and preparation is to minimize those unfortunate shot opportunities or results, if you will. But it's going to happen at some point in time. You've got a living animal that's moving, that's really not wanting to sit there and pose for you like a 3D target would. So the variables that they create, anything can happen. And I think I want to just first off touch on control the things that, worry about the things you can control. So again, that practice season, the things that you do in the off season to get ready for season, paying attention to your equipment, all that, focus on that. That's what will help build confidence as you get out in the field. Secondly, once you cut that arrow loose and you send it on its way, you have no control anymore. It's really important to put that in perspective, because we do all these things, we check off all these boxes to make sure that we're within our effective range. We've practiced, we're proficient, our broadheads are dialed in, so that way once you get to that point, confidence is at as high as it can be. You cut that shot loose, and essentially you're hoping for the best at that point. So once you cut it loose, you have to let it go at that point, to where regardless of the result, you hope for the best at that point, but you have to know that there is an opportunity that something could happen. So again, focus on the things you can control. Now, the few tips that I want to throw out there to you, because I've been in this place, and I responded, on this this Alpha follower, Alpha channel, Alpha Bow Hunting, subscriber and follower. I commented this. There was a few years back, quite a few years back, I had a bad season. I had a missed shot on a deer, I wounded a deer, and I wounded a bull in a very short time frame within a season. And I tell you what, as soon as that arrow left and I hit that bull, and he took that step and he kind of was walking, he moved right as his shot broke, and I hit him back. Bad situation. The first thing I wanted to do was take a knife to my string. Full disclosure, I was at that point of frustration that I was ready to just, I was done. I was upset, I was frustrated, and I wanted it to be over. I wanted the season to be over. I still put in the time, tracked the bull. I thought that there was an opportunity that we might find it, and it didn't work out. Long story short, it happens, or it will happen to everybody at some point in time. So things to help you get over that. We really coach, we focus on effective range. You hear the plane up there in the sky. That's let it pass there. We focus on effective range in our coaching, and the reason for that is because everything starts with distance, right? In order to take a shot, you need to know what the distance is to correspond with the references on your sight. So focus on, if you look at the way we do effective range and we get our clusters, focus on getting your practice sessions in your first third of that effective range. Get your confidence up. If you really take the time to jot out or document what your accuracy looks like in each one of those zones, your first third cluster is likely going to be very, very tight groups, very close to the spot. You're usually going to be hitting within an inch or two of the dot, at most distances inside that cluster. So focus on that, build that confidence back up, executing good shots. Your pin movement is perceived to be much less at that distance. So focus on those things. Second thing, the preparation, having confidence in the field comes from those successful practice sessions, putting in practice sessions, first and foremost, but having successful practice sessions. And then second to that, having confidence in your equipment. This year with the move, I've been in my new house here for just over a week, but I still got my bag target and I got a 3D target out there. I'm still putting in arrows downrange, not as many as I normally would. So this year I nixed all broadhead testing with, like I use, I'll go out and I'll try to test 3 or 4 new broadheads every year, see how they fly, see what kind of characteristics I'm seeing from them. And this year I just completely, eliminated that, because I knew as we were getting closer to season that I wasn't going to have the time to dive in and play with that. So the setup that I'm using this year, broadhead wise, is the same that I used last year and even the year before. So to me, I have confidence in that setup, and it's something that I don't have to, there's no doubts in my mind that setup's going to be proficient and work for me, accuracy wise and effectiveness. So focus on your setup, have confidence in your build. This is where you really want to go through and identify things. Everything's dialed in, everything's tight. You got to, whether it's the strings, the measurements you've taken for references, just in case something happens in the field. Take confidence in that you are prepared. Secondly, add in some more of those practice sessions in that first, third cluster. It's huge to be able to walk out in the field and know that as soon as that opportunity comes about, you're going to put a good shot on it. Next thing, we really coach, again, going back to our coaching structure. I mean, this is where I really pull a lot of confidence from, is because as I lived through this process that I kind of honed in this coaching structure years ago, as I started to quantify and put things into clusters, the 2/3 cusp. So if my effective range is 75 yards, for example, 50 yards is my 2/3 cusp. 2/3 of that 75, 2/3 of my MER. That's the distance my goal is to get into, so that way if I'm stalking in on an animal, or if I'm approaching an animal, if an animal's coming in towards me, if I'm calling to it, that's the number that I'm looking for, where that little light turns on and says, okay, 80-85% of my shot opportunities or shot scenarios are going to be green light here. I got to wait for that opportunity to present itself. Obviously, as it gets closer, potentially even better. I would even say that if you come off a couple bad shot situations in the field, push that into your first third. Don't pass up a really good shot opportunity if it happens to be in your second third. But obviously with me, I would like to shoot everything at 25, 30 yards and in, because I know that even though the animals, you're in its inside intimate zone, I know that if I can get my shot off in that first third, 90-95% of the time I'm going to be successful, if not higher than that, if I can get to that point where I'm breaking off a clean shot at that zone. So focus on getting in and creating shot opportunities if you could. Maybe it's a tree stand, maybe it's a ground blind, a water hole. Focus on those high opportunity, high success rate shot scenarios in the field. The last thing is, if you get an opportunity and it's within season, grouse, rabbit, something like that, maybe get some blood on an arrow on an animal that will present you with a optimal shot situation. Grouse, oftentimes if you can see them in the field, they'll stand there for you, and if you can get in 20 yards on a grouse and put a good shot on there, those types of things will increase the confidence within, as you move out to hopefully tagging out on a big game animal. So hopefully those few tips helped you out in the event that you maybe have come off a season that haven't had a lot of success. Or if you're just a new bow hunter in general and your confidence is kind of wavering, it's like, yeah, I think I'm ready, but I'm not ready. Like I said, focus on some of these things that I mentioned. And if you want to learn more about the Alpha Bow Hunting Coaching Pyramid and how we, quantify and organize and structure things within our effective range, within those distances, then check out more of our videos. You can scroll down. I've done a bunch of different series. I'll put a link to the actual effective range, kind of cliff notes, if you will, video on this one, so you can check that out. Hope you enjoy this topic. The mental side of archery and the philosophy side, if you will, is something that I really enjoy talking about, because I don't feel like there's a right or wrong answer with many of these topics. It's more learning from other people, or if you can learn from some of my mistakes, then we can all be better bow hunters because of it. And if it's just those incremental improvements you can make within the between your ears, then it makes a big difference while you're out in the field. So anyway, thanks for the video. The question on this specific topic is really pertinent for this time of year. So I hope you all have a successful season. Again, you know, may your shot opportunities be green light shot opportunities, and your arrow find its mark. And we'll see you guys soon.
I'm ready to play now. Put me in the game now. I came here to prove it. I'm ready to do it. I can't be afraid now. Put me on the stage now. I'm ready to rage now. I feel like an animal stuck in a cage and I'm ready to break out. So what are you afraid?